Hello, perverts and reprobates. I am going to be making this going to be kind of a ramble. It's not there's a direction to it, but not it. I may go off on tangents. Who knows? But I'm talking today about creationists and I guess this central concept. I've mentioned it in numbers of videos. You can't help but do so if you are going after creationism. But this is the idea, this concept that if creation is so self-evident and evolution is so obviously false, why do they repeatedly use lies to support it? I mean, lies. I don't mean mistakes. I don't mean that they're in error. I mean actual lies. So I want to explore this concept of lies and the lying liars who tell them, so to borrow from the book title. Okay. Now, when I talk about this, now I've had a lot of people when I've been able to point these out to creationists in person, actually show, here's the source and here's whatever. See, this is blatantly false. The defense I get most often is, well, they made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. Have you never made a mistake? That kind of crap. And I want to make sure I'm distinguishing between mistakes and lies. And also I want to make it clear what I'm talking about here are the sort of the creationist figureheads. I am not talking about creation followers. I'm not talking about Mystical Forest or even people like Gear Up or any of the other, PCS. Those they don't know what they're saying. I mean, they're repeating these things, but they honestly believe them to be true, at least as far as I can tell. I'm talking about the ones who know that they're false and yet keep on using them, and that is unfortunately not rare. It's not like I'm going to look through a creationist book and cherry pick a few concepts out of it. This is the entire thing that they say. So, for example, I brought this. I did a video, I think, almost probably a year ago, on Lucy's knee. Okay, there's a story about that when Donald Johanson discovered Lucy, he wanted her to be a hominid so bad that he had matched the fossil with a knee he found 2 miles away, and that supposedly this was exposed, and he was embarrassed about it. That when in reality the whole story is false. They're mixing up two completely separate finds. It is in, if you read Lucy, The Beginnings of Mankind, which, let's see, let me get the date here. 1981. It details where the finds were made, and exactly. There's no lying, there's no cover-up, there's no hiding this fact. This claim I saw in 2007. I saw a creationist make that claim. A creationist who had been corrected on that. Basically, 20 years earlier, he had been corrected on that. I mean, he had been told, no, that claim is false. Here's the truth, and he went on using it. That's a lie. He knows that it's false now. He's been shown that it's false. And it's not that he's been shown that it's false and he didn't believe the falsehood of it. I mean, it's simply false. That's a liar. Okay? That is a supporting your belief with fraud because of the fact that I saw this. When I saw this creationist, Dave Nutting, give this talk, I heard the audience sort of gasp and go, wow, can you believe that? They supported the evolutionists will make up anything. That was the reaction, which is what he wanted, even though it's not true. And when I pointed it out that it wasn't true, he just sort of shrugged and said, well, that's what Johanson said. I don't know. Maybe he's mistaken. Maybe he misspoke. And it's like, no, he didn't say it at all. Anyway, sorry, I'll go off on that tangent again. I already made a video about that. Okay, looking at this, here is a book. I just got this book, by the way. I found it at our used bookstore. This is by Duane Gish. This is The Amazing Story of Creation. It's kind of a children's book. I couldn't help but buy it. It was 50 cents. You can't go wrong there. But this book is so full of these lies. Now, Gish, as you know, he's the where we get the name, the term, the Gish Gallop from, meaning that when he debates, he's known as a master debater. He's famous for throwing out, 10, 20 different things, points. And then as his evolutionary opponent is trying to discuss point number 1, he throws out 10 more and throws out 10 more repeatedly, and then says he won the debate, even though everything he said is a bunch of crap. Or when he's actually called on something, he switches topics to another topic. So they call it the Gish Gallop. But this guy knows better. He has been corrected so many times on every single point that he makes wrong, and yet his most recent material repeats the same things. He is a liar and a fraud. He's making millions at it, like a lot of the others. But one of the things he makes right here, can't really see it. There's Lucy, and he talks about the only evidence that Lucy was bipedal was a knee joint found 2 miles away in a different place, and Johansen was finally forced to admit it. He tells that same lie. This book was 1990, again, 9 years after Lucy was published. Anyway, and long after the find was, scientifically described. So it's fraudulent and a lie. He repeats it. But I wanted to show this. This is a real common thing. And again, I know Gish knows better. I know he knows better. He's not a stupid man, obviously. He's made an empire out of this creation science crap. But look at this. Hopefully you can see it. Hopefully it'll show up. That is a cow with the back half is a whale. And he states that scientists are now claiming, evolutionists are now claiming, that whales evolved from cows, or a cow-like animal, or a pig, or a buffalo. And then he goes through detailing what had to have happened for a cow to evolve into a whale. And he describes how the tail must have suddenly grown flukes one day, and how it would have been useless for swishing flies, so they had to spend more time in the water. And then the back legs in one generation were just gone and happened to turn into flippers. And it just goes through this ridiculous concept as if it's changing from back to front, increment by increment, changing into a whale. As if there's no such thing as amphibious mammals alive today, mammals that live in land and water, otters, things like that. There's tons of animals that do live in the water and live on land and have modifications that are intermediate. You don't grow a whale's tail fully developed in one. It's a stupid straw man that he knows. Let's see if I can get this so you guys can really appreciate the stupidity. He knows this is false. He's not stupid. He knows that it's wrong. He knows that it's a lie. But by presenting it this way, people who may not know about evolution, or people who already are convinced in the falsehood of it, are going to look at it and go, man, those evolutionists sure are deluded fools. Man, they sure are foolish. They believe this crap. And yes, if we were claiming that this cow whale existed, we would be believing a bunch of crap. Nobody, no serious biologist, not even non-serious biologist, nobody believes that straw man exists. And okay, I'm gonna run out of time here. He's got just tons of these same arguments. He shows these impossible. Here's one. Here's the amphibian fish. It's still got like a complete fish tail and yet arms and legs, and he does that whole straw man that fish had to have been throwing themselves on land until they could breathe air. Just stupid stuff. And again, he knows it's not true. One of the things I've got decades under my belt of arguing these points in first person with creationists, creation believers, who follow these books and have brought these up to me and said, "Hey, counter this," And one of the things that when I've actually been able to demonstrate beyond all doubt that this specific claim here and this specific claim there is false, what I get, and this is interesting to me, is I get the two points that come up. One is I prove, hey, there's no scientist ever said this existed. No scientist talks about this. They go, oh, well then what about that? Well, what about that? They switch to the next argument, not recognizing that you have to question the whole source. If you find such blatant falsehoods, then wouldn't you start to wonder, isn't the whole source maybe full of crap? Maybe the guy is full of crap. Maybe the concept is full of crap. Or, this is the other one that comes, and this comes around, this is that tu quoque fallacy again. I get evolutionists lie too, bringing up Piltdown or something like that, not recognizing the truth behind those stories either. But doesn't matter. Even if those were lies, it doesn't justify lying. You can't say, well, our lies are okay because you lie too. It doesn't. It's just that I don't think they consciously think that, but that if you follow the logic to the end, that's what they're trying to say. Anyway, I'm gonna end this. Take care, guys. Maybe I'll make another video. I'm not sure if I'll have time today, but you guys take care.